Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education regular public monthly meeting. Today, Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. Tonight, the board met in executive session at 6 o'clock p.m. in room 105 here at James Caldwell High School, 265 Westville Avenue in West Caldwell. The purpose of that meeting was to discuss personnel, litigation, miscellaneous, and old business matters. That meeting has been advertised and is in compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act and NJSA 10:4-6, also known as the Sunshine Law. The matters discussed will be made public when confidentiality is no longer required, and formal action pursuant to said discussion shall take place only at a meeting to which the public has been invited. Tonight, the public conference meeting is happening at 7:04 p.m. here in the James Caldwell High School cafeteria. The Board of Education meeting is being streamed live, but all community questions and comments are welcomed here in person only. The Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education public conference meeting is also in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act and NJSA 10:4-6, also known as the Sunshine Law. Notices have been sent to the Progress in Caldwell, New Jersey, the Star Ledger in Newark, New Jersey, and Tap Into West Essex. Notices have also been posted at the Board of Education Business Office, located in the Harrison School Building, Gray Street, West Caldwell, and have been delivered to the clerks of the Borough of Caldwell and the Township of West Caldwell for posting. Brian, can you please take the roll?
Yes. Mr. Diambola. Ms. DiMartini.
Here.
Ms. Landolfi Jefferson. Ms. Mack.
Here.
Ms. Grosso.
Here.
So we have 3 members present. We do have a quorum.
Great. Can everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Brian, are there any communications for the board?
There were none.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on to the superintendent's report.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to introduce our Grover Cleveland Middle School house leaders, Ethan Gomez from House Courage and Nicholas Jeanette from House Endurance.
Yay!
All right. Good evening, Dr. Fernari and members of the Board of Education. I am Ethan Gomez from the House of Courage.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Jeanette from the House of Endurance. We have had several exciting events occurring at GCMS this past month. Super Bowl food collection. For our Super Bowl food collection, we asked each period one to bring in canned items or food that could easily be stored. All of the food collected went to the Caldwell Food Pantry to help people in need. For every 6 items collected in your homeroom, that homeroom got a vote on who would win the Super Bowl. In the end, Mrs. Rivers' class, period 1, was drawn out of the Super Bowl champions bucket and enjoyed their bagel breakfast to celebrate this past Friday. GCMS was also able to donate many items and help give the food pantry a much-needed boost.
The Readathon. The GCMS HSA Readathon helps earn money and funds for HSA through students' minutes of reading done each day. This helps promote good reading habits and more reading time while raising money for our school. The top reading for each grade got the prizes, and so did the top reader of each middle school house. The House of Respect read the most minutes overall, which were 7,402, and our top readers from each grade level were Ethan Kaufman for 6th grade, Madison Mitkiss for 7th grade, and Michael Berger for 8th grade. Congratulations to all the winners.
Academic Bowl. On Friday, February 13th, the GCMS held its Academic Bowl. This is an event where houses compete against each other to see which teams can win the trivia contest. Some of the questions were, what is Taylor Swift's favorite number? Does anyone know or would like to answer?
Go, Jimmy, go.
13. Yeah. What drink was invented and named after the athletes and the University of Florida?
Wait, say that again.
What drink was invented and named after the athletes and the University of Florida?
Oh, I know. I'm a big fan. Gatorade.
Yeah.
Go Gators. Woo!
We also increased the crowd participation by asking volunteers to answer questions during commercial breaks. If they failed to answer correctly, then they had to proceed to the Wheel of Doom, where they should spin the wheel to determine what task they had to perform, like show us your best ballerina leap. When it was over, leadership ended up as champions this year.
The middle school production of SpongeBob the Musical completed their auditions the first week of February, and all casting is now complete. Please come out to support and watch the production on May 8th and May 9th. My favorite part of being a house leader is getting to organize and run all the house events. I also like to get students involved when selecting them to participate in games like tug of war.
One thing being a house leader has taught me is that it is important to have leadership and also keep pushing forward with my house even when things get complicated in house games. Thank you again for giving us the opportunity to speak. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions?
You answered mine, Ethan. That's always the one I ask. But I hope you have a great basketball game.
Yes,
I heard
good
the middle
luck.
school is way more exciting right now than this cafeteria.
Yes, good luck at your games. Thank you. You guys did a great job. Let's give them a round of applause. It's Gatorade. Lord, do you want a quick picture? I don't want him to be late. Does he have to go? It's okay. Do you want him to take a quick picture with us? Or yeah. Just really quick. I know you got to go. I don't want him to stress out. I will be so fast.
He's there watching. Oh, yeah. No, they didn't make it. He's there to cheer on.
Thank you.
Okay. I love
Next.
the interactiveness.
That was really very
fun.
cool. Next, I'd like to invite our James Caldwell High School Future Business Leaders of America students up to talk to us about the importance of career and technical education.
Good evening. My name is Hayden Joseph Wilson, and I am the Vice President of Competitions for our local GCHS FBLA chapter.
My name's Sophia Helu, and I'm the President Senecure for our local chapter. February is Career and Technical Education Month. This public awareness campaign recognizes the importance and celebrates the accomplishments of CTE programs for students of all ages. CTE programs play an important role in readying learners for college and career success.
CTE classes provide hands-on training for high-skill, in-demand industries, including fields such as information technology, culinary arts, digital media, health skills, business and marketing, architecture, and family consumer sciences. James Caldwell High School currently offers 32 academic classes that fall under the category of CTE, with an additional 15 credits available through the Cooperative Industrial Education Program.
For a school with over 700 students, this means that over 80% of our student population has an opportunity to participate in a CTE class each year. For young adults looking to enter the workforce in 2026 and beyond, an opportunity to tap into these resources is critical.
Career and student organizations, referred to as CTSOs, are co-curricular, student-led organizations that provide leadership development, career exploration, and skills training for students enrolled in CTE programs. These organizations are recognized by the U.S. Congress and Department of Education, functioning as an integral part of the classroom instruction to provide students for college and career success.
CTSOs are not just after-school clubs. They are intracurricular, meaning that they are designed to align directly with classroom curriculum. The purpose of these organizations is to enhance student learning through applied, hands-on experiences, which fosters employability skills, teamwork, and leadership. Members have the opportunity to participate in conferences, competitions, community service projects, and networking with business professionals. Results of such participation led to improved academic performance, increased civic engagement, and the belief in oneself to succeed.
With an incredible 80% of JCHS students having the opportunity to participate in CTE classes, only 7% of our students participate in CTSOs. Why, you may ask? Well, the answer is pretty simple. The Future Business Leaders of America, also known as FBLA, is the only nationally recognized CTSO active at James Caldwell High School.
A majority of the active CTE students at our school do not have the opportunity for the type of invaluable, challenging, hands-on experiences that CTSOs provide. Here's a glimpse of the nationally recognized CTSOs. Future Business Leaders of America, DECA, which prepares emerging leaders for careers in marketing, finance, hospitality, and management, the BPA, or Business Professionals of America, the TSA, or Technology Student Association, the FCCLA, or the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, HOSA, which is the Future Health Professionals, Skills USA, Professional Agricultural Student Organizations, or PAS, and FFA.
As educational leaders in the position to establish great opportunities for the students in our district, we hope that at the end of this presentation that we have expressed to each of you the value that CTE and CTSO's experiences can provide. If given the opportunity in the future, we hope you will give the consideration to supporting current and future participation in these life-changing experiences. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we finish that, the board members, do you have any questions for the FBLA representatives?
Do you guys have any idea, on how you would want, which ones you would want to see in the high school? Do you, from talking to members of the FBLA or just your peers, is there one or two of them that you feel would be marketable to students that they'd want to join?
I definitely think that DECA would be probably the most popular one, just because I serve as the state representative for a region for FBLA, and I've just talked to a lot of members, and at their schools it's sort of like sister clubs, so they usually do they have both of them usually. So I think people will be really interested in that, and even when I'm talking to students here, they'll be asking me about DECA, and I'll be it's sort of similar, but just has a broader range of activities you can do. And then I would definitely say Skills USA or WISA would be another one. WISA is more directed towards if you're interested in healthcare, but Skills USA is just more general areas, so I feel that might be a better option. So DECA and Skills USA, I would say.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you, ladies. That
Thanks
was
so much.
wonderful.
That's
Thank
great.
you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Great.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
You're done?
Yeah, I'm
We're
done.
done?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so President's Report. Just want to talk about the fact that Xanadu is starting on March 6th through the 8th. That's our musical here at James Caldwell High School. The kids plugged SpongeBob, but Xanadu is literally in 2.5 weeks. The tickets are $15 each. All Caldwell-West Caldwell students are free, which is great, so thank you to Music and More for making that happen. Staff performances are $10 on Friday. That's the staff dedicated performance is the Friday evening. Seniors, 65 and over, your dedicated performance is $10 at the Sunday matinee. Xanadu follows the journey of Cleo, a magical Greek muse who descends from the heavens of Mount Olympus to Venice Beach, California in 1980 on a quest to inspire a struggling artist, Sunny, to achieve the greatest artistic creation of all time, the first roller disco. Oh my gosh, we're dating ourselves. Roller skating is the best. But when Cleo falls in love with this mere mortal, which is forbidden by Zeus, her jealous sisters take advantage of the situation and chaos abounds. And everyone should know that Xanadu is the official Olivia Newton-John musical. I mean, we all know it. I'm not going to break the microphone by starting to break into the song, but we all know it. So it seems like it's going to be so much fun. I know the kids are working so hard. So please, tickets are on sale right now. The link is on the James Caldwell High School website. Purchase your tickets in advance. Staff Friday evenings, seniors on Sunday. And let's go out and support our kids. And hopefully we'll have a lot of students come because they don't have to pay, and we all know students are on a budget, except when it comes to Starbucks and Chipotle. They're on a budget. But this is exciting. We're so excited for this. Excellent. And then tonight we have Youth Hoops Night going on over here, so if the meeting is quick, please go over and support the boys basketball team. The girls' Youth Hoop Night is on Friday evening, so support our girls as well. And tomorrow night is the wrestling team. Won last night in their semifinals, so they are in the North 2, Group 2, Section 2. I think there's a lot of groups and sections in these things. Tomorrow at West Morris, who is the 1 seed. So they'll be wrestling there, and it will be tough for them. So we wish them well and good luck. Committee reports, so we're missing 2 members. We're not going to have a policy update tonight, but we will have personnel, so I'll pass it to Terry.
Sure.
Thank you. So the Personnel Committee met on February 5th virtually with myself, Marisa Landolfi Jefferson, and Dr. Fernari. And during the meeting, we discussed the following. Dr. Fernari provided information about budgetary considerations for staffing for the district for the 26 to 27 school year. These considerations included staff retirements, program provision based on enrollment and student needs, and the use of outside consultants for a variety of services throughout the district. The use of outside resources for the provision of professional development was also discussed during this time. While the budget conversation is ongoing, the committee continues to engage with the administration on district needs and priorities. The committee also reviewed the status of the observation and evaluation process and the board's role in that process as it relates to future decisions concerning staffing needs for the 26 to 27 school year. The next meeting of the Personnel Committee is scheduled for March 5th. Thank you. That's all. Any questions?
No.
Great.
And just a quick update, we met in executive session on February 9th to discuss the budget. We're discussing it prior to here in executive. We're gonna go back into executive and continue our discussions, just so the public is aware that, thank goodness, because of the fiscal responsibility of the board and the great work from our business administrator, Brian McCarthy, who is very wonderful. Our district is very financially sound. We're happy to report. However, we had about a 25% healthcare increase, which this is why a lot of businesses and districts are bleeding across the state. So we have to find about $2.1 million. We are finding it. We are close to it. And then we will have no problem balancing the budget and presenting our budget on time to the county and to the public. But everybody should just know that the healthcare, the taxing of the healthcare on districts is very, very difficult. So we are finding our 2.1 million. We are very close to it. We're just finalizing some details, and then that'll all be presented by Brian at the budget meeting.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And that's it. We don't have any other reports tonight. That's about it. Okay, good. So we're going to move on. Oh, one other thing in the president's report I want to say. I want to announce that I think we announced it in January, but nobody was here because of the snow. So I want to say it's on this evening's agenda that Dr. Fernari, her contract is being extended for another year. So she has agreed to stay with us. We did not scare her off. She's sticking with us one more year. So Dr. Fernari will be with us for next year. And about this time next year, we will open up our search again for a superintendent. So that probably won't happen until late winter, spring next year. So we'll probably be looking to hire someone for a July 1st, 2027 start date, okay? Right now, we feel Dr. Fernari has been wonderful to our district. She's been a calming, pleasant, peaceful, resourceful, wonderful leader. She's brought a lot of stability to the district. We love her as a person, and we respect her as an administrator. We're happy she wants to stay another year so that we can kind of continue some of the things that we've started. So that's great. And I will also give an update about the field house as well, right? Since we're on facilities, we can just give a very brief update in case anybody asks. So we have capital reserve money. Capital reserve money is a special bucket of money that we cannot use for anything except capital improvement projects. It's very important to constantly say that because sometimes people say, well, you have $9 million in your capital reserve, but you're saying you have to find $2 million to plug the budget. Well, we can't use it. It's not like personal savings accounts. You can't, in a school budget, move from one bucket to another. Buckets are for specific reasons. That being said, we are going to be using, we've given a budget of about $6 million to the architect to build us a field house. We've asked the architect to give us a proposal, and he is starting to work on that. We hope to have some sort of a design from him in March, and when we feel good about those designs and the budget, we will share it with the public. Okay, so that's the update on the field house. All right, moving on. Approval of the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve minutes, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
And can I have a second?
I will second.
Great. Brian, if you could take the roll.
Yes, Ms. DiMartini,
Yes.
Ms. Mack,
Yes.
Ms. Grosso,
Yes.
3-0, motion carried.
Great. I'm going to open up to public comments only on the agenda only right now. Public participation shall be governed by the following. Participant must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface comments by an announcement of their name and address. Statements are to be limited to 3 minutes duration. Participant may speak no more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. Boards use the public comment period of the meeting as an opportunity to listen to citizen concerns, but not to debate issues or enter into a question and answer session or a cross-examination between the public and individual members. Please be aware that not all issues brought before the board will be resolved this evening. Boards may respond to public comment by seeking additional information or by delegating the authority to investigate the issue to the superintendent or her designee. The presiding officer may interrupt, warn, or terminate a participant's comments if they exceed the allotted time or are objectively obscene. Participants may be civilly liable for any obscene, defamatory, or slanderous statements made during public comment. Would anyone like to comment on anything on the agenda this evening?
Hi, Liz Hart, 149 Ravine Avenue. I wasn't prepared to ask a question about the field house, but since it was just mentioned, does that count as being
No, you have to do it at the end. It's not on the agenda.
Okay, cool. So I won't ask about that now. I will ask about it later. My question I have is with regard to Dr. Fenari and her extension of her contract. So I've been asking for several months, right? Obviously, I appreciate all the work that you're doing with the community, but what the interview process was looking like, where we were going towards that. I was told, okay, we're going to wait until after the field house vote, blah, blah, blah. That happened. I asked, and then it said, okay, well, we're going to coordinate our schedules. So does that mean that schedules were not coordinated and that we did not open out the, open up the role to the public? I'm not sure, how that works.
No, the board, listen, hiring a superintendent is one of the most, the board really has 2 main goals: to balance the budget and to hire a superintendent.
Right.
This board does not want to hire another superintendent right now. We hired Lydia. She's fantastic. The district is happy. The staff is happy. We're keeping her. That's our prerogative. With an interim, you can keep an interim for 2 years. That's the legal thing. You can have an interim for up to 2 years in the district. So we decided as a board, it wasn't in our best interest right now to go out and change. We have some things that Lydia is working on with us. We want to continue the flow of that. There's curricular things she's working on. So we're waiting.
Okay, so that was decided
by the board.
Okay,
Yep.
So, and then is a 6-month leeway, is that considered ample time? If you just mentioned that you were going to open up the interview process starting around the same time this year, right? And for that person to then start June, July of 2027.
Yep.
So do we feel that as a board, right? Do you all feel that 6 months is enough time to,
Absolutely.
to conduct?
Absolutely.
a
Absolutely. Even
thorough-
if someone is a current superintendent, they really are obligated to give about 90 days notice. So we'll probably use a timeline like we did last year. Probably meet in January, make sure that we're still comfortable with our job description, put it out, and start interviewing.
Okay, so then I know we're not talking about policy, but there's a new policy rule that about nepotism, so that it states that you guys can hire, or the board or the superintendent can put forward somebody, whether they're a family member or a spouse, assuming that there has been a thorough, right, interview process and all candidates have been evaluated, and basically the only result, or the only, viable option, right, would then be somebody that would either be a relative or what have you. So I'm just questioning whether or not we think that 6 months is ample time.
I'm not sure what you're insinuating, Liz.
I'm not
Are you
insinuating
insinuating
anything,
that
I'm
we're
just-
going to hire someone like that we're related to? I'm not sure what you're insinuating.
No, I'm curious. I feel like 6 months to interview somebody as a superintendent, to search for a candidate for the important role of superintendent, why we would put a limit to that? Why would we not start
We're
looking
not,
at it?
it's not, go ahead, Danielle.
Well, no, I was going to say, I think, I know when we started the initial superintendent search, Liz, there was a lot of behind the scenes work that just as a board we were doing
Right.
together. So coming up with a job description and, setting our goals as a board.
Right.
The interview process itself, I mean, when I look back, it really was just a few months. It was pretty fast. But
fast.
just know that there's time before that, process in February where
Right.
we're meeting together and, coming up with goals, a job description, things that we're looking for in a candidate.
Okay.
And then when we post it, it does move pretty
Yeah,
quick.
it moves very quickly. I mean, you know,
Okay.
we probably went through that initial round in
It was
5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, it's just concerning, right? Because if Dr. Fernari's contract is up after 2 years, right? And obviously we found Dr. Fernari, which was great as an interim solution, but that same process went through that same amount of months. So I would hate for us to be in this same scenario. And because we only started in January and only gave ourselves 6 months leeway to find somebody to replace Dr. Fernari, because at that time, right, her 2-year
We
max.
also have to understand, people are not looking for, like, not many people who are applying for superintendent jobs, if you put a posting out in September, they're not looking at that time, right? They're already locked into a contract, right? They're locked into a district. Usually, really educators are looking anywhere, and Lydia, please jump in.
Sure.
Usually anywhere between March and May is when they really look for jobs. That's really when educators, because their contracts are gonna be up. Or they're in a position where it's a nice time for them to transition, because most superintendents start at a July 1. It's odd for a district. It's not that it doesn't happen, but it's odd for someone to start in a November or a January. It feels very odd. And as a district, it's the prerogative of this board. We don't want to bring someone in mid-year, right? That's not an ideal time to bring someone in. It's more ideal to bring someone in the summer. They can get to know the central office staff. They can have their own private meetings. So that's why we're on that timeline, right? And we've done a lot of the legwork the last time. So coming back to the table this time, we'll meet and talk about it a lot in the fall in executive, without a doubt. But we're not going to put that posting out probably till January. We'll give it about a month, get our candidates in. It'll take us about 6 weeks to interview, if that. It depends.
Okay, well, that's great. I mean, it's a different process than in corporate world, so
Yeah, it's much
I
different.
appreciate that
Yep.
extra clarification
Yeah.
on how it works within a
Yeah.
school district. So,
Yeah.
thank you. Thanks, that's it.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Does Lydia want?
Oh, I just wanted to
Yeah.
make one point of
Yeah.
clarification. So with the nepotism policy that's
Yeah.
on tonight's agenda, it's the portion that I believe you were referring to, just so I can be clear about it, is in accordance with NJAC 6A23A 6.2B, per diem substitutes and student employees who are relatives of a board member or the superintendent shall be excluded from the provisions of this policy. So that never used to be, but we're talking about per diem, daily workers, right? I mean, I'm a per diem technically, right? But per diem workers, substitute teachers, substitute custodians, substitute secretaries, those kinds of positions, and student workers that may be hired over the summer or in off times for additional work. So that's where the change to the nepotism policy is an optional piece that this board is considering. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move on to vote. So we'll start with curriculum and technology. Danielle.
Sure. Under the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, motion to approve items A through L under curriculum and technology on this evening's agenda.
Okay, and can I have a second?
I will second it.
And Brian, whenever you're ready.
Yes, Ms. DiMartini,
Yes.
Ms. Mack,
Yes.
Ms. Grosso,
Yes.
3-0, motion carried.
Okay, curriculum.
Yep. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, motion to approve items A to L under certificated staff and items A to D under non-certificated staff in personnel on this evening's agenda.
And can I have a second?
I'll second.
And then Brian, whenever you're ready.
Yes, Ms. DiMartini,
Yes.
Ms. Mack,
Yes.
Ms. Grosso,
Yes.
3-0, motion carried.
And finance and facilities.
Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, motions to approve items A through J under finance and item A under facilities on this evening's agenda.
And a second.
I'll
please.
second.
And then Brian, whenever
Yes.
you're ready.
Ms. DiMartini,
Yes.
Ms. Mack,
Yes.
Ms. Grosso,
Yes.
3-0, motion carried.
And then we have policy.
Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, motion to approve item A and A to C under policy on this evening's agenda.
And a second.
I'll second.
And then Brian.
Yes, Ms. DiMartini,
Yes.
Ms. Mack,
Yes.
Ms. Grosso,
Yes.
3-0, motion carried.
Great, now we're gonna open up public comments on anything on or off the agenda. Again, public participation shall be governed by the following. Participant must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface comments by an announcement of their name and address. Statements are to be limited to 3 minutes duration. Participant may speak no more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. Boards may use the public comment period of the meeting as an opportunity to listen to citizen concerns, but not to debate issues or enter into a question and answer session or a cross-examination between the public and individual members. Please be aware that not all issues brought before the board will be resolved this evening. Boards may respond to public comment by seeking additional information or by delegating the authority to investigate the issue to the superintendent or her designee. The presiding officer may interrupt, warn, or terminate a participant's comments if they exceed the allotted time or are objectively obscene. Participants may be civilly liable for any obscene, defamatory, or slanderous statements made during public comment.
Hello, Liz Hart, 149 Ravine. Okay, so the question about the Fieldhouse Capital Reserve. So I can't remember, Julianne, what you said,
6 million.
6 million, okay. So 6 million from capital reserve. Brian, I think it was mentioned that we have 9 million in capital reserve.
We have 9 presently.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's wiping out 2/3 of our budget for capital reserve, which would potentially have what kind of impact?
So we're actually may use another $1 million for an elevator this year. So that's
For
8.
Washington.
So
Okay.
potentially would leave $2 million left in the capital reserves
Okay.
if we spend $6 million on the field house.
And so if we take the majority of the capital reserve budget out to fund the field house, how could that impact, like what kind of potential impact could that have to us for the future? Meaning, what are capital reserve monies typically used for? Emergency, one-time expenditures, correct?
So not necessarily. So
Or
we
not?
have
Okay.
3 different buckets. We have I call them buckets or reserve, special reserve accounts. We have emergency reserve account, which we have about 100,000 in there. That's really for emergency and securities. Actually, 519,000 in that account. We have a maintenance reserve account, which I think we have about 2.5 million right now.
Okay.
So that's used for maintenance projects for our facilities. All right. So we
So that-
So we have that reserve account, and then we have the capital reserve account, which is more specific toward capital projects.
So can you give me a for example of a previous capital project that we've used those funds for? Just so I can wrap my head around like what.
So for instance, we had a withdrawal last year in the budget for some of the vestibules.
Okay.
So about 900,000 was brought out of the referendum for
Right.
the vestibule projects at Wilson and Jefferson.
Okay.
So that was they were capital reserve.
Okay, so that would mean that potentially if there were projects that were needed to be done at other schools, right, that those would not be possible if this money is approved, or it's already approved? Sorry.
So there's a finite amount of money, correct?
Right.
So the board's prerogative is to choose how to spend
Okay.
the money on projects that they feel are needed,
Okay,
necessary. So it's the board's prerogative where we spend the capital funds.
okay, and then when we do a budget,
Mhm.
so for the upcoming budget, right,
Yes.
that you'll present in May,
Yes.
I can't recall, do you typically then, as part of that budget, set aside money for capital reserve, or no, you're not allowed to do that? I can't remember where these funds come
So
from.
many projects, most projects, the DOE prefers that you outline the project in the budget. So we may outline this project as a capital project in our FY27 budget.
Okay. But I thought that the state didn't approve that, which is why we weren't able to use the capital reserve funding? Or
that's-
was that
so
not
So
accurate?
the state, the town did not approve the referendum questions to borrow for some of the cost of the field house. So the state did not,
But the state didn't
turn us
approve any
down.
offsets, part of
sorry?
it, right? The state didn't approve
That's
any.
service aid. This
there
field
was-
house is not
there wasn't-
eligible
there
for
wasn't
debt
something-
service aid.
Right.
they did not approve because it was never eligible. So debt service aid, if that's your question,
Yeah.
was never eligible for projects like the field house. So debt service aid is only eligible for projects that are that are really, say, tied to the main instructional facilities. So
Got it.
we never apply for debt service aid, so it was never something that, you know, we were turned down for. We knew we were never getting it.
Okay. So the probability of the capital reserve budget increasing over the next 3 years, if the $6 million is depleted from it, is question mark?
So,
Can I ask you a question?
of course,
Sorry.
and I can answer that question too.
Because I believe at one point, one of the auditors came in, I don't think it was this last time, maybe the time before,
Yes, it was the
and
time
talked about, all the good work that you do, but that in your capital reserve, you typically don't want to have more than 3 million in it. Was that rough? I believe that was the number she gave, and she talked to us then about like, that we had identified projects that we were going to spend down on, one of them being the initial funds given to the referendum. I thought that was part of the conversation.
I'm not sure I remember that conversation, but
Okay.
you know, 3 million is not inappropriate. $2 to $3 million to have in capital reserve. Again, the purpose of the account is to fund capital projects.
Okay.
Okay, we're not going to spend it to zero. We will have other capital projects in the future. And going back to your question about how quickly we're going to be building this in the future, I would say that given the current budget constraints, it's going to be difficult.
Okay.
Because we started off this conversation today saying we have a $2 million year-over-year increase in health benefits, which is material. So
Right.
we are working to trim other things so that we can afford the health benefits because we have to pay for that. So we will balance the budget, but again, building capital reserve and the reserve accounts is going to be difficult in the near term. We're hoping that the world gets less costly and maybe we have some kind of flattening out in healthcare costs. And we move this year from the state health benefit plan to a private plan, but we can go out and shop again. So I do plan to go out and shop in 6 months. And if we have to move every year and things improve, then we'll do that. So, but in the near term, the answer to your question is it's going to be tough, given, I guess, excessive increases in health benefits.
Okay. May I ask one more question? So, is that, okay. So if I don't know what the projections were. I feel about a year or so ago, there was an audit done of the projected student, attendance or what, I'm sorry, I can't think of the word, right? Like student population enrollment, right? Yes. So if that should continue to increase, right? I know everyone is up in arms, there's additional housing being built, blah, 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 right? So should we need to further enhance the Harrison School to house additional, classrooms or maybe, shift the schooling around? If we were to need capital reserves to do that, we potentially would fall short.
Yeah. So one of the things we should know about the Harrison School project, and by the way,
yeah.
the board is going to be receiving a report from us very shortly about where we are with that. There are 13 classrooms at Harrison School.
Great.
Currently, we are using 3 as classrooms for preschool, and part of our charge as administrators has been to provide the board with scenarios that would allow us to maximize that space.
Right.
So rather than putting capital reserve money into that facility, which the board has already done, right, to bring it up to where it is right now, we're looking at the most practical ways to use that space with the least amount of need to enhance it any further. I mean, there may be small projects that we need to do, for example, playground equipment or that kind of thing, but when it comes to adding on to that building, doesn't seem to be right now, a need that the district is going to have to consider. So I don't want that project to feel like it's looming without a purpose.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Yeah. But I also wanted to point out that we have room there. We have space.
And I was just using Harrison because it's top of
I
mind.
understand.
But should there be? I guess my point really is that should there be any other capital improvement projects required for any of the other school buildings related to education for the township or for our Caldwell-West Caldwell schools, that those could potentially be impacted by the reduction in our capital reserve for the
So
field
I think, I
house.
just want to jump in, that, Liz, the town voted on question 1. The majority and the important capital projects that need to be taken care of are being taken care of in that referendum question. That's why the board split the question up, so that the important improvements that you're referring to would be taken care of and voted on, and that's being done. So the board has a lot of confidence that the schools, safety-wise and security-wise, are being taken care of in that question 1. That's why the architect advised us. Initially, we were like, we're going to do everything together. He's like, I wouldn't do that, because people who don't believe in the field house might tank all of these really important improvements, besides the fact that we're going to maximize the money to get everything done that's going to be very costly to you, so that you do have the cap reserve, if the field house fails, to build a field house. So that's why we moved forward that way with the referendum questions. We then revised it to try to get more support from the community, so we didn't have to do this with the cap reserve, but it failed twice. So now we have to do something, right? Because we still stand behind what we said in the beginning, safety and equity for the children that use that. So that's an important space. The board has prioritized that. The public didn't feel the same way, so we're taking matters into our own hands. But from what you're insinuating, the safety and security of this district, vestibules, pipes, facades on 100-year-old buildings, those are all being taken care of in referendum question 1.
Okay, I'm not insinuating, I'm asking, right, whether
No,
or
but I'm
not-
just saying, but
Yeah.
there is listen, we all know you've been very vocal against it, so I really appreciate you coming up, but I feel that, as the board, we've been very patient with a lot of it, but it is our prerogative. The capital reserve is not there to sit there. It's there to be used for the safety of our buildings. That building, as it stands there, is not safe. There's 80% of our children, Mr. Romano walked out, but 80%, I think it's 70 or 80% is what he said, when we had these first rounds of referendum dog and pony shows, participate in athletics. Our females have no place to go. It's pathetic. It's 2026. Something has to be done. That building is 100 years old. Something has to be done. So we're taking it into our own hands to do something about it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Okay. All right, if that's it, I'm going to ask for a motion to enter executive session at 7:45 p.m.
I'll make a motion.
And can I have a second?
I'll second it.
And then Brian, whenever you're ready.
Sure. All in favor, aye.
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 All against, nay. Any abstentions?
No.
Motion carried.
Thank you. I believe our next meeting is March 9th. Not sure,
Yes.
Brian, are we here?
Yes, it's here, and it's March 9th.
March 9th. So we'll see everybody then.
Okay.